When passion meets fear, we as filmmakers create nightmares, drawing you into the dark and learning together that we are not so different. The Highlands Horrorfest brings filmmakers and horror fans alike together to celebrate those fears and embrace the unexplainable. Sit tight, hold your breath, and whatever you do, do not turn out the lights. The Highlands Horrorfest Roadshow starts now.
Hi there, my name is Justin Simerly, and we're here in the heart of the Appalachian Highlands in Johnson City, Tennessee for the Highlands Horrorfest Roadshow. We're here at the Johnson City Brewing Company, where tonight you'll meet the coordinators of the show, and also they will unveil the Highlands Horrorfest beer flavors. It's going to be an exciting night, so let's get started.
Johnson City Brewing Company here. Just wanted to also say that welcome to everybody. Is everybody having a good night? Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all for being here. We released some beers tonight, some special beers that we made for Horrorfest. But we released some beers. We made a flight of beers, 4 different ones. One's a J-Town Brown Ale, the kind of special Horrorfest beer, which is a chocolate peanut butter brown ale. We got one that's a blackberry brown ale, and then a chocolate ghost pepper brown ale. Well, without further ado, I just want to introduce my guests here and get moving here from them. We've got Shannon and Jake and Chris, and they're going to talk about how they're involved in the festival. And Jake, what is your official title for the festival, and what is it that you do?
Hi, my name is Jake, and this is all my fault. So I'll tell you the same story that I told you a little while ago. I was sitting over at that table right there after a run one day with my wife, and we were talking about what I was going to do. We did Horrorfest last year. It was definitely a paper clip and bubble gum and duct tape, kind of operation. I'd never done anything like this before. Just kind of had the dream of doing a festival, horror film festival here in town, and we got it off the ground. It was really great. Same guys here with me this year as were last year, Chris and Shannon both, and so we're kind of having this discussion, and my wife looks at me and she goes, you should say something to Eric. He might make you a beer. And I said, you think so? And she was like, yeah. And so we went and talked to Ryan, and Ryan was like, yeah, man, go talk to him. And then next thing you know, that kind of worked out, and I was just like, we should do this, and we should do a thing where we should go to like local bars and everything, and like kind of bring the whole community into this, and really take this from just being a thing that's a horror film festival and make it something that really is regional, that really is representational of the whole place, of the vibe of the Appalachian Highlands. So we kind of ended up with a concept for the Roadshow, and now we have all these wonderful beverages to enjoy when we go and we listen to all these local filmmakers talk about their work and talk about their endeavors and celebrate their film community that we have here, which is a great, vibrant community, and people need to know that, and that's the biggest thing about this. That's what I'm going for. I really want everybody to realize that we have so many talented filmmakers in this area, so many people that pour their heart, their souls into what they do, and they need to be appreciated, respected, and seen. And it's bringing them out, showcasing them out, and letting the students that are here now at ETSU have been very privileged to know a lot of really super talented people who've graduated from the program, and a lot of ones who are still there, and just trying to kind of grow this community up and make sure that everybody knows everybody, because movies aren't made in a vacuum. It takes a village, and that's the point of it, is kind of growing this village up, and that's what the goal is here. So yeah, coming together through horror and beer. Yeah. This is Chris Maloney. He is the owner of the Wallace Theatre, and he's been kind enough to share the venue with us, to allow us to screen the stuff at the Wallace. He's going to be doing a couple of other events, a couple other workshops coming up on Roadshow, and then this is Mr. Shannon Brown, otherwise known as Big Daddy Voodoo, who is our hostess with the mostest. So yeah, with that, I guess I want to pass it off and let Shannon say a few things.
I have been a horror fan since I was a little kid. I was the little kid that was always afraid of everything. I couldn't watch Scooby-Doo because It scared me to death. I couldn't watch the film strip for Sleepy Hollow because The Headless Horseman was too much. But then somewhere in my teens, I discovered 80s horror movies, and horror became just a love of mine. It became something I needed to understand the world. And so ever since then, horror's been my thing. I got involved with, I've known Jake a while, and I've also got involved with Lost State Audio Video Club, where we show 80s and 90s exploitation movies and horror movies, and we just celebrate the cheap movie making. You know, it may not be the best movie, but it might have the best idea. And you can say one thing about horror, it's that you'll watch other genres come and go, but horror stays around because horror keeps reinventing itself. It's not like a superhero movie where you gotta have a superhero, you gotta have a good guy, you gotta have a bad guy. Horror's celebration is in the variety, the different expressions of what scares us and the different views. It doesn't have to be in the modern day. It doesn't have to be slick. It can be ugly. It can be shot on whatever you have at hand. And the horror that touches us is something that reminds us that, you know, we're in this together. So we're all in this theater. It's dark. These movies are not, you may think, oh, local movies shot on 8mm, right? No, these are professionally shot, beautiful movies. Last year was stunning. I mean, even a movie you may not connect with is going to look good. It's good stuff. And it's just the joy of bringing that kind of horror, that kind of ability to move an audience. I mean, how many other genres can you see a whole room cringe at something? You know, and then you turn to each other and go, did you see that? Did that get you? That's bringing people together. I love horror because, you know, it not only does it allow me to release those scary things that bug me on a daily basis and go, oh, okay, it's not real. It's just a movie. It lets me think about people a little bit better. And we're going to be at Wallace, which is just a fantastic venue. If you haven't been downtown to see the Wallace Theatre. Chris, how long have you been there?
So yeah, spring of 2020 is when I took it over. So mostly we started doing like comedy shows and stuff like that. And also film events. Actually, my first event at the theater after the COVID lockdown ended was The Crow, the film, the Brandon Lee, and so that was kind of the first event. And I set it up to really be film and live performance. You know, those are kind of the two main things. I moved here from Chicago, and that was my two favorite things to do there was like the small little film houses and that you find, you know, all over the city, and then also the kind of small like comedy club, you know, that kind of thing. And so those are the two main things that we're doing there, and I'm very happy to be doing the film festival there. It's been really great. Like I've done a lot of things with the ATSU students, and so I kind of have a background in acting and commercial and children's theater and stuff like that, but my favorite thing has always been short film, you know, acting in short film. I like the camaraderie and the creative process. And yeah, it's great to have it there. So I'm happy to have a second year of horror short films there.
Have you announced any of the films that are going to be shown at the festival yet?
Short answer, no. Long answer, there probably are some people in this room who are going to have films shown. I won't name any names just to keep the suspense going. But
he won't name any names, but we've already named some names.
Regardless. October 1st is the closeout for the entries, and so October 2nd we're going to be dropping the who are the selected few who are going to be presented, and so yeah. October 2nd. Oh yeah, and I don't know if we mentioned it or not, and I probably didn't because I was talking too much, but we are having a costume contest. Yes. At Horrorfest. So.
Costume contests are my happy place. When I work cons, I love nothing more than a costume contest, so I'm hoping we get some, I want some serious entries. This is going to, you know, we're going to judge this like a real costume contest. So we would love to see serious attempts at some costumes. I love it.
Every Wednesday going forward, every Wednesday, 7 o'clock, all across downtown. We got the next event coming up at the Wallace. It's gonna be Tyler Payne talking about viral filmmaking and world building. He's very talented, very outspoken artist, does a lot of really cool things.
Very known on TikTok.
Oh yeah,
he has a huge TikTok channel.
Big time. And that's really what a lot of it is. He's been able to kind of build this story out of just a few little TikTok clips into this whole cinematic universe. So, and then beyond that, we're off to, I think the next one's Atlantic Ale House, Mr. Alan C. Lopez. Going to be talking about working with actors in independent films. And the next week, I think we're at Dylan Rutherford. I saw Dylan roaming around here somewhere. There he is. He's an artist, he's a musician, he's a filmmaker, he's also an electrician. Really amazing guy, does a lot of things, and it's all about how to kind of balance that work life and creative life and move on from there. We've also got Bobby Funk the next week. It's going to be over at the TV studio in Wharf Pickle at ETSU, doing a little workshop on actors and how to act in horror films and how to act with intent and a little bit about stage combat, things like that. The following week, we're going to be at Yeehaw Brewing, and it's going to have Troy Prater, Ryan Renfro. They're going to be talking about their experiences working on the Scrotum series, doing 2 films, the second of which they produced during the pandemic and actually got funding from Troma Entertainment. So how that story came to be and what it's like to take your film and level it up and get noticed and get some money on the back end to make it. And then we're going to close out on 25th of October with very talented body painter, mixed media artist, makeup artist, Ren Allen. She's going to be doing a workshop back again at the TV studio at ETSU in Wharf Pickle. And we're going to close out that week with Horrorfest back at the Wallace.
Nice.
Good times.
Very good.
Very, very packed schedule coming up. I have given myself another night class, but it's a fun one. It's one I get to enjoy. So, yeah, that's where we're at.
Well, if you give you give it to me. You see, to me, I can't give a single answer. I can say that probably the greatest horror movie of all time is going to be Halloween because it started an entire genre by itself. My favorite, right now, and it could change next week, we're showing Return of the Living Dead at Hideaway next week. So that movie has a special place in my heart, and so does its sequel. I just love them.
Oh, God. I'll give the same stock answer I always do. First horror movie I ever saw in the theater was John Carpenter's The Thing. It's probably still my favorite. Somewhere very close is An American Werewolf in London, which is probably the second one I ever saw. So, yeah, I'm going to go with those.
Well, I like horror movies that are like a spoof on horror, but also kind of a horror itself, like Scream and Cabin in the Woods. Like, those are some of my favorites. So I like it, because they can be horror movies as well, but, also just kind of fun.
I don't know. The first thing that pops into my head is, maybe this is cheesy and commercial, but House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know that one by, what's that, Rob Zombie?
Like start naming baseball movies.
It could be. There are some ones. Yeah, Field of Dreams. That's really scary.
I'd love to see the horror take on Field of Dreams. It's like, I built it and they came.
Yeah, came. That sounds like the next iteration of Living Dead. Let's give it up for these guys for our panel here tonight. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much. Thanks for being here. And thank you all for being here tonight. It's a great time. Grab a brew, hang out a little bit, and let's rock and roll. The next...
Can I give a little shout out? Our tamale guy is here.
Yeah, Herman, come up here. Where are you?
And his tamales with that ghost pepper beer is one of the best things I've had in a while.
So Herman's our real good friend. Been around for a while now. The Tennessee tamale guy. He's got tamales going. He did some special ones for the event tonight, right?
I did a chicken with the mole sauce, and Saturday I'm going to be at your other location at Johnson City Brewing on Boones Creek with a bratwurst tamale. So I change it up. You're never going to find me doing just a simple one flavor tamale. I change it up all the time. And like I said, today I have chicken and the mole sauce, and Saturday I'll have a bratwurst tamale. So hit me up on my Facebook, Tennessee Tamale Guy, so that you know what I'm cooking for the week. It changes up every week.
Awesome. Sounds good, man. Thanks for doing that.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. Let's give it up for Herman here. Yeah.
My favorite horror movie, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. It was great doing all the yeah. Well, thanks to Herman being here. Thanks to you all for being here tonight, and thanks to the panel. Thank you guys so much. And we'll wrap it up with that. Everybody have a great night. Thanks a bunch. Thank you.